Hi, everybody. It's Graham again from Redeemer United Methodist Church in Harper Woods with another book for our Redeemer Reads program. This book is called The Tale of the Three Trees. This is a traditional folk tale. A folk tale is a story that's been handed down. For generations, the tale of the three trees has been handed down from parents to children, retold in churches at Christmas and Easter, and even set to music and sung. As is often true of folk tales, its originator, the person who wrote it, is unknown. But to this person, we're very glad that they had this story for us. So this is the tale of the three trees. Once upon a mountaintop, three little trees stood and dreamed of what they wanted to be when they grew up. There's the trees, and they're dreaming of what they want to be when they grow up. The first little tree looked up at the stars twinkling like diamonds above him. "I want to hold treasures," he said. "I want to be covered with gold and precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the whole world." See, there's the treasure chest. He's dreaming of being a treasure chest to hold treasure. The second little tree looked out at the small stream trickling by on its way to the ocean. "I want to be a strong sailing ship," he said. "I want to travel mighty waters and carry powerful kings. I want to be the strongest ship in the whole world." The third little tree looked down into the valley below where busy men and busy women worked in a busy town. "I don't want to leave this mountaintop at all," she said. "I want to grow so tall that when people stop to look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the world." Years passed. The rains came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, three woodcutters climbed the mountain. There's the trees all big and grown. The first woodcutter looked at the first tree and said, "This tree is beautiful. It's perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the first tree fell. "Now it shall be made into a beautiful chest that will hold a wonderful treasure," thought the tree. The second woodcutter looked at the second tree and said, "This tree is strong. It's perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the second tree fell. "Now I shall sail mighty waters," thought the second tree. "I will be a strong ship for a king." The third tree felt her heart sink when the woodcutter looked her way. She stood straight and tall and pointed bravely to heaven. But the woodcutter never even looked up. "Any kind of tree will do for me," he muttered. With a swoop of his shining axe, the third tree fell. See, there's all the trees. They're all gone now. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought him to a carpenter's shop. But the busy carpenter was not thinking about treasure chests. Instead, his work-worn hands fashioned the tree into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered with gold or filled with treasures. He was coated with sawdust and filled with hay to feed hungry animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took him to the shipyard. But no mighty sailing ships were being made that day. Instead, the once strong tree was hammered and sawed into a simple fishing boat. Too small and too weak to sail an ocean or even a river, he was taken to the lake. Every day, he brought in loads and loads of fish, smelly fish. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in the lumber yard. "What happened?" the once tall tree wondered. "All I ever wanted to do was stay on the mountaintop and point to God." Many days and nights passed. The three trees almost forgot their dreams. But one night, Golden starlight poured over the first tree as the young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. "I wish I could make a cradle for him," her husband whispered. The mother squeezed his hand and smiled as the starlight shone on the smooth and sturdy box. "This manger is beautiful," she said, and suddenly the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure in the world. What do you think that treasure is? One evening, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into an old fishing boat. The traveler fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon, thundering and thrashing, a storm arose. The little tree shuddered. He knew that he did not have enough strength to carry so many passengers safely to the wind and the rain. The tired man awakened. He stood up and stretched out his hands and said, "Peace." The storm stopped as quickly as it had begun, and suddenly the second tree knew he was carrying the King of heaven and earth. Who do you think he was carrying? One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the forgotten woodpile. She flinched as she was carried through an angry, yelling crowd. She shuddered when soldiers nailed a man's hands to her. She felt ugly and harsh and cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third little tree knew that God's love had changed everything. It made the first tree beautiful. It made the second tree strong. And every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world. Well, blessings and peace to you. You'll hear us reading some more stories in the future. Have a good evening. Bye.